Welcome to a new edition of the Cards Cast. What do you say we talk a little baseball in this edition of the Cards Cast? Got plenty of football going on. The Cardinals off to a good season there. Basketball, men's and women's basketball, they've started practice. Louisville Live coming up. They're getting ready for what should be very exciting 24-25 seasons. But let's talk a little baseball. The Cardinals going through their fall schedule. They've already had exhibitions against Purdue and Indiana. Now they're finishing things up with their inter-squad series called the Pizza Bowl. We'll have more on that in just a moment. So let's talk a little baseball. I'm Cardinal Authority senior writer Michael McCammon. And more specifically, let's touch base with Zion Rose, Louisville's freshman All-American from last season. See what he's up to as he's gearing up for a big second season in the Cardinal uniform. All he did last year as a freshman, just hit 380. It was team high. Not bad for a first-year player. Appeared in 44 games, started 43. That 380 average, it was best for all freshmen amongst Power 5 programs. That's pretty nice. Freshmen, though, often you think they might kind of disappear when the spotlight comes on, and it's understandable. They're stepping up and on the stage. It's a bigger stage, not Zion Rose. In ACC play, when the stakes continued to rise, hit 396. Just good for second best amongst all players in the ACC. Not too bad for a freshman. Perfect game freshman All-American, Zion Rose was. So had a chance to talk with him after the Indiana series recently out at Jim Patterson Stadium, where he had a 3-run jack to give the Cardinals the win in the first of 2 games that day. Wanted to see what he learned from his freshman year and the summer and Team USA experience. Yeah. That's what he did. After being all that good his freshman year at Louisville, then he went off to the Cape Cod, where he hit 295, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs in 19 games. Only played 19 games. Why? Well, because some folks in North Carolina, Cary, North Carolina, said, hey, come down and join our squad. We'll put Team USA across your chest, where he started 4 games for the Team USA Collegiate National Team, the Summer League Tour team. Yeah, busy first year for Zion Rose, for sure. So wanted to touch base and see how that went, how he's feeling, how it's translating into his sophomore year. Also wanted to kind of get the opinion on the same things from Dan McDonnell. So let's do that. Here's Dan McDonnell. Zion Rose seems like a guy who's ready to kind of take that next step and become kind of a national spotlight guy, even more so than last year. And what have you seen from him since the end of last year? Obviously, he had the Team USA experience, but as far as developing and growing, both as a player and as a person.
I'm sure he just has a little more confident knowing what he was up for. As a freshman, you kind of don't know. He always worked hard, I thought, last year, but I'm sure this year it's much more of a professional routine. Now knowing what's offered, now knowing what he's got in front of him, now knowing what he can do to be the best player that he could be. But he does fall in line with some of the great players that we've coached in terms of work ethic and desire. And I've always said it. And we love getting credit for the great players that have played here, but it starts with them. We're not sprinkling magic dust on their head. They have a desire. I think that I hear Dalton Rushing was the minor league player of the year. I give Dalton a lot of credit, man, because we were hard on him. We loved him. We coached him. It wasn't easy. He fought his way in the mix, but Dalton wanted to be great. That's why he stayed here. That's why he stuck it out. And that's why it's fun seeing the success that he's having. So from all those guys on the All-American wall and the guys that are playing in the big leagues, man, it's fun seeing that Zion has that desire, and so as a coach, you feel like, man, I gotta give him everything I got. He's a sponge, man. He's in chapel. He's sitting there. He's got his notebook open. He's wanting to learn. He's wanting to write things down. And so I love that. And I know his energy and desire to grow kind of permeates throughout the club.
Dan McDonnell seriously wants to obviously get his team back to the Louisville standard. Last year, just going 32-24, including a quick 0-2 exit from the ACC tournament. No postseason beyond that for the Cardinals last year. Clearly, again, not the standard for Louisville baseball that Dan McDonnell created at Louisville baseball. Wants to get the Cardinals back into the national spotlight. I think he has the talent to do it. Depends on how well those pieces come together. He's got one of the nation's best incoming crop of freshmen that are going to be counted on. He's also reached out to the JUCO ranks and through the transfer portal to shore up his roster with veterans and talent at key spots that you need to challenge in the ACC. And if you can be one of the best teams in the ACC, well, then you're one of the best teams in the country. To do so, you're going to need Zion Rose to have a season like last year elevated even more so. Take the things that he's learning from and the growth and see how that continues to translate. Here's my conversation with Zion Rose.
Fall ball. I mean, you've been hitting the ball pretty well. How you feeling right now?
Good. Just trying to get back in my rhythm. Was doing a few things, changing a few things, trying to fill things out. And I think I'm in a good spot right now.
Had a huge, obviously, freshman year, but it's still got, I would imagine, still a learning season for you. What did you take away from that year that you had last year?
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, too much to say on here. But just being around Mac, he's such a good coach because he knows so much just about situations and the small things in baseball that a lot of people don't know about, especially like on the bases, just on defense. Having that awareness, and then I think the biggest thing overall for me was just health wise, learn how to sleep on the front end, eat right, drink, hydrate, all those things, how I take care of my mental just so I could be prepared to go out there and give it my best.
It's kind of like you taking another step towards that professional career that's waiting for you out there.
Oh, for sure. That was the long season plus summer ball. I mean, we're playing 70, 80 plus games, and
Yeah.
you got to think that's only half of the major league. So, yeah, it was definitely longer, and I definitely was tired on the back end of the season, but in the summer.
Yeah.
And, yeah, but I'm glad I went through it because now I know for this year how to adjust to it.
Team USA experience, that's got to be pretty cool.
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, ain't nothing better than playing with USA across your chest.
Yeah. What do you learn from those experiences? Being able, because obviously you're there with many of the nation's best.
Yeah, it's just like you said, learning from people and their different organizations, their different colleges and things like that, and how they do things, and just kind of having an open mind, an open perspective on things, and yeah, I learned a lot from just being out there defensively. We had some great coaches out there, and again, just having fun at those type of events, showing out for your country.
I was talking to Dan, and he pointed to that wall, and we got talking about you, about what the future could hold for you. You got a little grin on your face. What's that mean? Because Louisville's created quite a lot of guys out there on that wall. What's it mean to you that you're kind of on the edge of taking another huge step here?
Yeah, I mean, that would be amazing whenever that time comes, if it does come, if God gives me,
Yeah.
the ability to be up there. But right now I'm just living in the moment, man, having fun with these guys right now, taking it day by day because I know in the blink of an eye it's gonna be gone. I'm gonna be out of here. So yeah, that's the biggest thing, taking one day at a time, winning one day at a time, and then eventually that'll lead to being up there.
College sports is changing quite a bit over the last couple of years with the NIL and the transfer portal and stuff like that. So you're seeing it on the roster this year. I mean, it's, like Dan was just telling us, usually we got 75% of the team coming back. That's
Yeah.
a lot of turnover. What's that like for a guy was here last year coming back?
Yeah, honestly, it's crazy. We got
Yeah.
more new guys than returners, so
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like my freshman year, but like learning people does feel like a freshman
That's
year
all
because I don't know nobody. But I kind of like it. I mean, I get to work on growing bonds with all these players. I mean, we got a great group of guys, like some people that I look up to that just came in. So I mean, yeah, I just like it again, looking at different perspectives and people's minds on baseball and how they think. I think it's going to be really good for our team.
You guys showed just today that you can be a pretty offensive team.
Yeah.
I mean, guys were hitting the balls all over parts of the park. You seeing that? And you
Oh.
guys come out and put up some runs again this year?
For sure. I mean, these new guys, I mean, everybody bangs, and that's what we're known for. I mean, Louisville baseball, we hit. So I'm super excited to see how this season's going to go and how we're just going to keep elevating, how our chemistry is going to keep getting better as a team.
You guys, I think, are going to do one more week of inter-squad stuff, but then you're going to do the Pizza Bowl. How big is that Pizza Bowl for you guys?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been having inter squads right now and
Yeah.
controlled scrimmages and just competitive. I mean, every day, like over anything, we're competitive. Ping pong in the basement.
Gets pretty heated.
So heated. So and we got to run a lap every time we lose. So it drives us. So I can't wait for the Peach Bowl to see who wins it.
That competition, that's what you want to see for a team wanting to get to Omaha, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Iron sharpens iron. So, I mean, that's all we need right now.
Cool. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks a lot, Zion.
All right.
Best
Thank you again to Zion Rose and Dan McDonnell for chatting a little baseball with me. The Cardinals certainly want to bounce back from last year's 32-24 season. I think they've got the talent to do it. Depends on how well they mesh it together, and they're currently doing that as they wrap up fall ball with their Pizza Bowl schedule. It's the inter-squad series, that rivalry thing, the inter-squad rivalry. It's fun to check out. They began on October 1st, and it will run through October 16th. The dates for them, the first pitch, you could see in the article at cardinalauthority.com for this podcast, or you can go to gocards.com and see it there as well. And that potential bounce back from last year's 32-24 season begins on February 14th through 16th in a big way as the Cardinals head to Texas for the Shriners Children's College Showdown at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, where they'll play games against Texas, Oklahoma State, and Arizona. So they're going to get 2025 started in a big way. Again, thank you to Dan McDonnell and Zion Rose for joining us in the Cards Cast. I am senior writer Michael McCammon, and again, this has been a Cards Cast.